What's up, you guys? It's Zora, and today I bring you a review of The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. I'm really excited to talk about this game because although I haven't played it in a long time, like since back in 2010, I remember it very vividly. So I'm just going to go ahead and talk about it. So, first of all, I remember when I was first playing this game, I was a little confused by the controllers because I got so used to the N64 version of, like Ocarina of Time and its buttons, and I was thinking, wow, there is so much more to do with the GameCube version, and the mechanics are different and considerably more elaborate. So it took me a minute to get my head wrapped around what my buttons do. And then as the game progresses, you learn more swords moves, so that was pretty exciting. But at the same time, I'm like, wow, am I going to be able to keep up with all of this? But it was easy. I mean, repetition gets you places. First of all, I was excited about the graphics. You guys know that I tend to be a very visual person, so the fact that I had some kind of good quality on a Zelda game, it had me tripping, because I was always hoping to see my character resemble the stuff like in the booklet, in the instruction booklet, like the Ocarina of Time booklet. I remember I would look at it all the time and I'm like, wow, my character looks nothing like this. But anyway, as years went by, technology got better, and so did games. So, at any rate, I remember that you start off in the Ordon village, and I kept referring to it mentally as the Kokiri village. I'm like, all right. Although Link from Ocarina of Time is like your ancestor, I still like to think of it as, ooh, this is Kokiri Village, minus the Kokiri and the Deku tree and all that. So I'm just terrible when it comes to names, man. And then something that surprised me a lot was Epona. You start messing with her when she is already grown and all that, and it was awesome to see the details that she had as your horse, like you could see the muscles and all that, and the scale of it. It looked like an actual horse. Ocarina of Time should look like she needed to feed herself a little more. But anyway, like I said, I'm not going to go too harsh on Ocarina of Time. It's still an epic game. I enjoyed it, and it's not the N64's capabilities fault. It's just the technology from the time. At any rate, something that I loved was the Zora tunic. It made you look like a ninja when you were underwater, but I also liked how it had the scales of a fish in it. That was pretty exciting because it looked and felt more realistic than the previous versions of it. Whereas, like in Ocarina of Time, all that would change was the color of the tunic. You had the powers of infinite breathing underwater and all that, but your costume just remained the same. It's like it's all a matter of what shirt you're wearing. That was kind of, it lacked the detail, but like I said, it's not the gaming console's fault. Additionally, I loved the boss battles because they all had its uniqueness. I mean, all Zelda games are known for that. But what I'm saying is that the skills that you learn from that, is it the Stalfos or whatever, who teaches you the new skills? You get to use those skills. In some games, like Metal Gear, for example, you may get a weapon, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to use it. I never had the need for an automatic rifle except in Metal Gear Solid 2. That part where you're fighting the Tengus and all that. But, some weapons I never even got to touching, really. So Zelda addresses that pretty differently. It's like the success of your quest depends on how well you use those sword skills. So that was exciting. Another thing that I loved is how every character has something going on. You know, like you get to rescue somebody, you gotta escort someone, like that quest where you have to take care of Hylia and Telma as they go through the field to get to Kakariko village to help, you know, that Zora kid. It's cool because you have to be able to respond well with your horse and your arrows and all that. It's a pretty challenging quest, but at the same time it gives you such a grand level of satisfaction when you complete it, because it's like, yay, I got the management skills for this type of battle. Also, Zora's domain and Lake Hylia in general, such beautiful spots. That was my favorite spot to hang out at, and I absolutely loved that little mini game where you're flying and you're like collecting fruits. I know you're doing something with fruits, and the little soundtrack in the background is pretty hilarious. But yeah, you guys, another thing that I absolutely was not expecting, but I was so happy to see, was the implementation of you becoming a different creature. You have Link being a wolf. I love wolves, so you have no idea how happy I was to be actually playing as one and have the option of switching between being an animal and being a human. Now, of course, the reason you had to be a wolf is so that you have sharpened senses, and so you can restore the Twilight, the places that were taken over by this Twilight thing and the darkness and all that. So that was a very, very neat idea and neat concept to incorporate into a game. It made the game have two different tones to it, and I gotta admit, at some point I would get tired of being a wolf and I just couldn't wait for everything to be light again. But at the same time, I enjoyed so much Link having those extra keen senses, like being able to follow trails of someone's scent and dig around and, you know, see stuff that's happening in another dimension. You know, when you talk to spirits and they can't see you but they're there. You know, it's a big game, and I love it because it never gets boring, and there is so much to do, so many side quests, and the map is huge. It's you know, a pretty open world game. So yeah, you guys, if you have not played this game, which has been out for quite some time, you're missing out. If you like games that involve fighting and overall fun, it's just fun. The game is super long. I cannot remember at all how long it took me, but I know it was a couple of days before I got to the very end. And when it came to the quests, it was easy to tell what you had to do. In Ocarina of Time, I don't know if it was a language barrier or what, but I did have trouble beating some courses. And the Shadow Temple, I remember I hated that, and I beat it all on my own. It took me a while. It was frightening, but when I completed it, I was like, if I survive this, I can survive anything. Well, you guys, that is all that I have for you right now when it comes to Twilight Princess. I enjoyed this game so much, and there's an HD version out there that I wouldn't mind getting my hands on, just so that I can experience the graphics even more stunningly than they already were in the GameCube version. So what are your experiences with this game? Did you love it? Do you enjoy it? Do you still play it to this day? If I had the medium, I would still be playing it presently. But at any rate, I would love to hear from you guys, and as always, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you soon.